even in this place where I'm like, there is no room for error here, still your inability to talk to each other is fucking you up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I want to talk to you about something that I noticed that came up because I was interacting with people in a hospital, but this applies across the board to if you have a service-based business or even if you're running an organization. Now, so I know somebody, her daughter, big problems, big challenge with her daughter. Her daughter ended up with autoimmune encephalitis, which is basically your body attacks its own brain. The brain swells. There's inflammation in the brain. When you start monkeying with the brain, some weird shit happens to the person. You see they start doing shit that they don't normally do, right? And it can be very messed up. So she ends up in the ICU, intensive care unit. Now, along the way, here's the challenging stuff that bothers me, that I wanted to share about with the intent of probably venting because it bothers the crap out of me, and also bringing it to light so people can understand it, see it, and then also I would love that my sharing hopefully impacts somebody out there so that they do something about it. So she ends up in the ICU. And on the way to the ICU, time and time again, this person I'm thinking of, she knows something's wrong with her daughter. She spends every waking hour with her daughter. She's like a single mom kind of deal, right? And she knows this kid. She pays the fuck attention. She sees her. She's with her all the time. She knows something's wrong. She tries to tell a doctor, hey, something's wrong. The doctor's like, oh no, brush it off. Okay? So she goes home. Shit starts getting weird again. Nope, something's off. And even prior to that, the kid had been having fevers, like a low-grade fever for like a month. Like something is off, right? You go to a medical person, brush it off. You go to another medical, they brush it off. Eventually, it gets so bad that she's like, all right, ends up in the ER with this very weird situation. Now, granted, it's a weird situation. And what do they do in the ER? They eventually start by telling her, oh, it's just this, and then try to send her away again. And she's like, no, there's something wrong, people. Hello. And then they get her down to the hospital. And they get her into an intensive care unit. And then right away, they're on top of their shit. They're doing their things, to stabilize the kid, and they end up in the ICU, and then they're there for days. Now, while they're in the ICU, in this place of places where you would think that people need to be on top of their shit and on their A game, still, one doctor comes in, oh, I think it's this. Another nurse comes in, well, have you tried this and tried this, as if they know what they're talking about. And then the next nurse who comes in doesn't reference the charts, doesn't talk to the other nurses or the other doctor, and then they're recommending something else, and then this other doctor who actually knows her shit comes in and says, no, do this, this, and this, and this. Bam, fucking handled. My gripe is with this lack of communication. In a place where communication is critical, you're not doing it, and then you don't know you're not doing it. I would have a much better time if a doctor came in and said, you know what? I don't know what's going on. Great! Then we can start with that. Rather than starting with somebody who comes in, oh yeah, I know, blah, 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 and then they recommend this course of action from a place of feeling like they need to know something, not acknowledging that they don't, and then just fucking around. Yeah, apparently I've got problems. You see, I'm venting. But it's that lack. And then the non-willingness to stand up when you don't know something and say it. You don't know? Tell them. Yeah, but I'm supposed to know. No, you're not supposed to fuck around. You're in an ICU. You're supposed to run shit. Run it. Talk. See, so then that was I was like, even in this place. So like I'm a bit disheartened. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. Even in this place where I'm like, there is no room for error here, still your inability to talk to each other is fucking you up. Say it. And then it's like, then that gets me going, right? That gets me going. So when I'm in this place, I'm like, holy shit, this is bad. Or like, here's some stories where you go to get something amputated. They will write on the leg, and they goddamn should, cut off this one. Not this one, because when you might fuck up. There's zero room for error. You can't fuck up in there. What do you amputate the wrong leg? And I bet it happens. That's why there's somebody writing on this shit in the first place. You would think it would be critical, but then I'm like, what? They're not talking. Oh my God, they're not doing that. Like, let the communication flow. And then my next gripe. I have not worked in a single organization where there isn't this. There's a difference. There's, as far as I can tell, a difference. Like when you're top professionals, they don't have that that piddly shit. Or I'm imagining, or maybe I've got an ideal. I'm working on some idea of a perfect world, and it's just not that way. Like I used to work retail. It is nothing but gossip and drama and he said, she said, like in the background. When they're not doing their job, people get bored. So then what do? They make up shit to talk about usually, and it's like crap with other people about this, that, and the other thing. See? And then it's like this gossip shit. Or like in professional, quote, professional workplaces, like, like I said, I have a past relationship. They work in an office. People work in an office, professional setting. And in a couple past relationships, actually. And in this professional setting, you got like the one person in there who, like, they're clearly a bad teammate. They suck at their job. They're bringing everybody down. They got a bad attitude. They're overstepping. Like, they're doing all kinds of stuff that's just not contributing to the effort, right? It's not a contribution. It's a degradation. And it's like, go talk to them. Tell them they're fucking up. Yeah, but we can't because HR and then what? I mean, I get it. Like, so my gripe here is like with these structures, like these systems and ways of thinking. This is what I'm warring on, is like these ways of thinking. It's like there's a better way. And there's a way that doesn't include all this little shit that just gets in the way of, providing excellent service, or like a team that's really on top of their game. And I guess that's probably what separates people that run an organization or a team and they're on top of it. Some of it is there isn't this crap. You see, like you get that one negative player and it's like everybody just puts up with it, and then, as far as I can tell, then they trash talk the person behind their back. So now there's this lack of transparency. There's this gossip bullshit. There's all this other social manipulations, people trying to get their needs met, when it's like the job is way simpler than that, people. It's way simpler. Get the fucking job done. What are you doing with all this other stuff? Now, how do I know about this stuff? Right? Because I've seen it myself, of course. But I think it's very powerful to get the difference between that crap and like getting the job done, or that's crap which is totally self-serving, and this other world where it's like not me, not about me, about the job. See, like I heard another story in the medical field, right? And this blew my fucking mind. I heard it from a nurse in the ICU, like an ICU nurse. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I was working in the ER. And I couldn't take it anymore after a while, because some doctors, apparently, there's like, you've got your ER, right? and then people are being seen in the ER. And then you've got these operating rooms where doctors or surgeons do like different kinds of stuff, and they make more money, right? And some surgeons, like the ORs are all empty, ergo not making money. The OR is empty, so they send somebody down, or the doctor, they go down to the ER, and they look for the person with the best insurance. They talk to a nurse down there. Hey, who's in here right now that's got some really good insurance, right? And then they say, what are they? They look at their charts. They go flipping through the charts, and then they find somebody with really good insurance and a little something that they could easily be like, hey, why don't you come get that operated on? Why? Because the money. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, this shit happens, apparently. What the fuck? What the fuck? If you are a doctor and you're doing that, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of the medical profession. Did you not take an oath? Do no harm. The goal of the doctor should have the ORs empty all the time. That means everybody's healthy, not harmed. Are you serving this person? No, you're serving yourself. You're serving the money for you. Now, I've got no problem with money, but to do it like that, and you're a doctor? No. If you're a greedy fuck, which you are, if you're like that and you're a doctor, you're not a doctor anymore, you're a greedy fuck, then you can go ahead and make money that way. It's fine. You're a greedy fuck. You're worthless. But to do that, no, you're not doing the job. No. You see the idea? Okay, now this happens everywhere. We probably call that something like corruption. Shit gets corrupted. What the fuck, dude? Anyway, that kind of blew my mind. So, venting, good, enjoy. What's the point? Like, what am I talking about here? The deeper issue is one of integrity. It's one of, if I've taken an oath to do something, you do it. And also effectiveness. Like, if I have a job to do, you see, and I learned this a bit, you see, and again, I'm not saying I'm totally free of this kind of stuff. I'm saying this kind of stuff is what gets in the way. Like, as far as I can tell, it makes the world a bit of a stupid place when people are like this, and they are mostly, or no, okay, I don't know if they are mostly, but there's a lot of this going around, this kind of thing. Lack of communication, people putting, like, they get their own self all twisted up into the job that they're doing, and they don't realize that sacrificing their self for the job is a better way to go. It's more powerful. It's more free in a way, more clear, more authentic. Better for the job, better for the person. Not me, that. If it's something worth doing. See? It's like that quality of self-sacrifice, I think, is one that is missed. I know I had to get trained up in that to the degree I'm trained up, to the degree that I take it on, and to the degree that I continue to live that way, like a decision. See, that stuff, I feel like that stuff is going away in our culture. Maybe we never even really had it. You know, like if you think back to there were empires that rose and fell, right, over 1,000 years or whatever, 500 years. So there's ups and downs to this shit. And we could lose it all. You know, but we have these stories about, and also representations of people that make a decision to uphold a certain, I don't know if you call it a code of ethics, but maybe they understand principles or they understand ways of going about life, like integrity, for example. Where, like, if you're a doctor and your job is to do no harm, that means that you don't get to go to the fucking ER, try to milk the insurance company to fill your pockets. No, your job is to make sure the people are fucking healthy. Not make sure they're healthy so that you benefit. It's because it's not about you. It's about them. Fuck you. Serve them. See, that seems like a better way to go to me. So it's like I was struck by this and I wanted to bring it to light. Now, aside from me ranting, what can you do with this video? Just consider it. Consider yourself. Consider the different ways that you can go about doing things, and consider like what happens if you, say, give your word to uphold a certain set of values, but you know you're not doing it. What's that about? Either own the fact that you're not doing it and stop saying you're committed to these values, like stop being a hypocrite, or be a hypocrite. But in either case, notice the consequences. One way of living is more powerful, more healthy, more free, more enlivening than the other. And then there's ways that are less powerful, less free. I am less. I'm causing more harm. I'm being greedy. And again, I've got no problem with making a lot of money. All right? I'm not saying that. It's just like, what are you really up to? Because like the organizations that strike me as good have some of these values. Like, for example, there's a car dealership, and I still remember this car dealership for something so simple as like when I call them on the phone, a goddamn human answers the phone. This is, this is great. Somebody right there, bingo. Especially like if I'm going to buy a car. Yes, and let me get you to the next person. Boom, person. Yes. This is way, but not this like, press 1 to do this. Press 2. Like, clearly you don't give a shit about me. You give a shit about you making money, blah, blah, blah. Where's the person? In my mind, I just have that. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school, or maybe I'm crazy. I'm definitely crazy. Or like if I go to Discount Tire, the way they run their shit is good. So far, it could go to shit too. You see, that's the other thing. It can go away. Why? Because it's dependent on people. And people, what are you going to do? Fuck. Okay? So I wanted to bring that to light and then just have you consider your own self. Again, I want you to live a certain way, but that's my want. I don't care about my desires for others to live a certain way. Oh, okay, I do a bunch. Okay, this is probably one reason why I'm making the video. And also, it's like I want to hello people, hello. Why don't we do that instead of this other bullshit? Because out of all of the things we could choose to do in life, how about that one? How about this other way? Maybe we could try powerful, effective, serving others. Maybe let's try that instead of this where people get lost and shit gets twisted. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I hope this serves you in some way. Try the stuff out. Try living a twisted life. See if you like it. Try living this other more powerful, valuable ways, in service or whatever. Try that, see what it's like. Let me know what you find out. All right, and go slap some doctors if you ever see them, because fuck you for messing with people like that. Not cool. You're a doctor. And I got the same with politicians. When's the last time you actually served your people rather than your own self-interest? All right. Later. Bye. Check the links. I'll catch you later. Bye.